Commander Elena Santos stood at the observation deck of Helios Base, Earth's most classified facility hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean. Through the crystalline viewport, she watched schools of bioluminescent fish dart past, their natural light show reminiscent of the strange signals her team had been tracking for the past 18 months. "They're accelerating, Commander," Dr. Maya Chen announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The Hegemony fleet will reach our solar system in approximately 3 months." Elena nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the massive chamber below where their greatest achievement was taking shape. 12 vessels unlike anything humanity had ever built before. Ships that weren't just machines, but living, breathing entities created through the merger of synthetic technology and engineered biological systems. "Show me the latest intelligence," Elena commanded. The holographic display shifted, revealing hundreds of massive ships moving in perfect geometric formation. The Hegemony, a collection of advanced alien species that had been steadily expanding their territory across the galaxy. They'd already dismissed Earth as another primitive civilization, their long-range scans detecting only what humanity wanted them to see: outdated satellites, basic space stations, and rudimentary propulsion technology. "Their arrogance is our advantage," Dr. Chen said, pulling up another display showing the internal layout of their prototype vessel. "They expect radio waves and chemical rockets. They're not looking for quantum biological signatures or consciousness-driven systems." Elena approached the biosynth interface chamber, a crystalline pod filled with a translucent fluid that allowed direct neural connection with the ships. Her fingers traced the surface, feeling the slight pulse of the living crystal beneath. "How's the synchronization testing progressing?" "Extraordinary results," Dr. Chen replied, excitement evident in her voice. "The neural binding between human consciousness and the biosynth matrix is stable up to 99.7%. The ships aren't just responding to commands, they're anticipating them. It's like they're becoming extensions of the pilot's own nervous system." The project had started 20 years ago, when humanity first detected the Hegemony's presence at the edge of their detection range. While the world's governments maintained a carefully crafted image of a planet still struggling with basic spaceflight, a secret coalition of scientists, engineers, and military personnel had been working on something revolutionary. "Status update on the fleet?" Elena asked, moving to the main control center where dozens of technicians monitored various aspects of the project. "Vessels 1 through 8 are fully grown and synchronized. 9 through 12 are at 85% maturity," reported Captain James Chen, Maya's brother and head of fleet operations. "The biological components have fully integrated with the quantum cores. We're seeing unprecedented levels of energy efficiency and computational power." Elena reviewed the latest test results. The biosynth ships represented a fundamental departure from conventional space vessel design. Instead of rigid metal hulls and mechanical systems, they had grown their ships using crystalline structures infused with engineered biological components. The vessels could heal damage, adapt to different situations, and most importantly, form deep psychological bonds with their pilots. "Begin final integration testing," Elena ordered. "I want all pilots to run through the full neural synchronization protocol. We need to be ready before the Hegemony arrives." The next few hours were a blur of activity as pilots entered their interface chambers one by one. Elena watched through the monitoring systems as each connection was established, human consciousness merging with the biosynth vessels. The ships responded beautifully, their crystalline hulls pulsing with patterns of bioluminescence that mirrored their pilots' brainwave patterns. "Commander," Dr. Chen called out suddenly, her voice tense, "we're picking up something unusual in the long-range scans. The Hegemony fleet. They're deploying something at the edge of the Kuiper Belt." Elena quickly moved to the sensor station. The holographic display showed small objects being released from the advancing fleet, probably automated survey drones. "They're being thorough this time," she mused. "Perhaps they're not as dismissive of us as we thought." "Should we adjust our timeline?" Captain Chen asked, concern evident in his expression. Elena studied the tactical display for a long moment. No, let them come. Let them scan their primitive little target. Our biosynth signatures will register as nothing more than background radiation to their conventional sensors. We maintain our schedule. She turned to address the entire control room, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of preparation. Every civilization they've encountered has tried to match their technology, to beat them at their own game. But we've done something they never expected. We didn't just advance our technology. We transformed it into something entirely new. The hegemony thinks in terms of machines and computers. They've forgotten that the most sophisticated computer in existence is the human brain. The room fell silent as Elena walked to her own interface chamber. "Begin my synchronization sequence," she commanded. It's time I got to know my ship personally. As the chamber filled with the neural interface fluid, Elena felt the familiar sensation of her consciousness expanding. Through the biosynth link, she could feel the ship awakening, its vast crystalline network of neurons reaching out to merge with her own. In that moment, she wasn't just controlling a vessel. She was becoming something more, something that represented humanity's greatest achievement, the perfect fusion of biological and synthetic life. The hegemony was about to learn that they had made a grave mistake in underestimating Earth. They expected to find primitives playing with rockets. Instead, they would face something unprecedented. A fleet of living ships, each one guided by the most sophisticated neural network in the known galaxy, the human mind. As Elena's consciousness fully merged with her ship, a single thought echoed through both her human and synthetic synapses. The silent watchers were about to reveal themselves, and the galaxy would never be the same. Deep within Helios Base's primary synchronization chamber, Commander Elena Santos' consciousness danced between her human body and the vast neural network of her biosynth ship. Through their shared connection, she could feel every crystalline facet, every pulsing strand of engineered tissue that made up the vessel's living structure. Neural synchronization at unprecedented levels. Dr. Maya Chen's voice echoed through both Elena's human ears and the ship's sensory matrix. The quantum biological interface is adapting to your brainwave patterns in ways we never anticipated. Elena opened her eyes, both her human ones and the ship's array of sensory organs, taking in the vast underwater hangar from multiple perspectives simultaneously. The sensation had been disorienting at first, but after weeks of integration training, it felt as natural as breathing. "Show me the others," Elena commanded, her consciousness expanding to encompass the facility's network. Through the biosynth's enhanced perception, she observed the other 11 ships, each pulsing with its own unique rhythm as their pilots established their neural connections. Every vessel was a masterpiece of bioengineering. Crystalline structures that had been grown rather than built, infused with engineered organic tissue that could think, heal, and evolve. Captain James Chen's voice cut through her expanded awareness. "Commander, we're detecting increased activity from the hegemony's advanced probes. They're establishing a preliminary scanning grid around the solar system." Elena directed part of her consciousness toward the long-range sensors. The alien probes were sophisticated, but they were looking for conventional energy signatures, nuclear power, fusion drives, artificial gravity fields. The biosynth fleet's quantum biological systems were effectively invisible to their standard detection methods. "Let them look," Elena responded, her voice resonating through both her human vocal cords and the ship's communication systems. "They'll see exactly what we want them to see." Dr. Chen approached the synchronization chamber, her tablet displaying a complex array of neural activity patterns. The integration between human and biosynth consciousness is reaching levels we never thought possible. The ships aren't just responding to commands. They're anticipating needs, adapting their internal structure, even developing what appears to be emotional connections with their pilots. Elena could feel the truth of those words. Her ship, designated Nexus Prime, wasn't just a vessel she controlled. It had become an extension of her being, its vast crystalline neural network intertwining with her own consciousness to create something greater than the sum of its parts. "Begin Phase 2 testing," Elena ordered. "I want to see how deep this connection really goes." The massive hangar doors above the facility began to open, allowing the dark Pacific waters to flood in. Elena felt her ship's excitement, an emotion that was neither entirely human nor entirely synthetic, as they prepared for their first deep-water trial. Through their shared consciousness, Elena directed the ship upward. The crystalline hull pulsed with patterns of bioluminescence as they rose through the water column, the vessel's biological components automatically adapting to the increasing pressure changes. "All systems functioning beyond expected parameters," Dr. Chen reported, monitoring the telemetry. "The quantum core is maintaining perfect stability, and the biological components are showing remarkable adaptability." As they reached the ocean surface, Elena experienced a moment of pure exhilaration. The ship's crystalline structure refracted the sunlight in ways that made it nearly invisible, while its biological sensors provided her with an awareness that extended for kilometers in every direction. "Beginning atmospheric flight test," Elena announced, guiding the vessel upward. There was no roar of engines, no violent acceleration. The biosynth ship moved with graceful precision, manipulating quantum fields to slip through the air like a ghost. "Remarkable," Captain Chen breathed, watching the telemetry. "The energy efficiency is off the charts. The quantum biological drive system is operating at nearly 100% conversion rate." Elena took them higher, pushing the boundaries of Earth's atmosphere. Through their connected consciousness, she could feel the ship's tissues adapting to the changing conditions, its crystalline structure adjusting to maintain optimal performance. "Commander," Dr. Chen's voice carried a note of urgency. "We're detecting a shift in the hegemony fleet's formation. They're accelerating their approach." Elena directed her attention to the long-range data. The alien fleet had indeed increased speed, their massive ships moving with the confidence of an unstoppable force. They still hadn't detected anything unusual about Earth, their arrogance blinding them to the possibility that a primitive civilization could have developed something so far beyond their understanding. "How long until they reach the inner solar system?" Elena asked, bringing her ship back down toward the ocean. "At their current velocity, approximately 6 weeks," Captain Chen responded. "They're moving faster than our original estimates." Elena guided Nexus Prime back into the underwater hangar, her mind already analyzing the tactical implications. "Accelerate the training schedule," she ordered. "I want all pilots achieving at least 95% neural synchronization within the next 2 weeks. The hegemony's overconfidence is our greatest advantage, but we need to be ready when they arrive." As she disengaged from the neural interface, Elena's human body tingling as her consciousness consolidated, she could still feel the ship's presence in the back of her mind, a constant reminder of the unprecedented connection they had achieved. The hegemony was about to learn that their dismissal of Earth as a primitive backwater had been their greatest mistake. They expected to find a civilization barely capable of reaching their own moon. Instead, they would encounter something unprecedented, a fleet of living ships, each one guided by the most sophisticated neural network in the known galaxy, enhanced and empowered by human consciousness. Project Nexus wasn't just about developing advanced technology. It was about fundamentally changing the relationship between human and machine, biology, and synthetic engineering. The hegemony's vast fleet of conventional warships was about to face something they had never imagined possible, a force that had evolved beyond the limitations of purely mechanical technology. The final phase of humanity's long preparation was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The hegemony's arrival was a deliberate show of force. Their massive vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, thousands of ships arranging themselves in a spherical pattern around Earth's orbit. To any primitive civilization, the display would have been terrifying, a statement of absolute technological superiority. Commander Elena Santos watched the spectacle from within Helios Base's command center, her lips curved in a slight smile. "Right on schedule," she murmured, observing the alien fleet through their quantum biological sensors. And just as arrogant as we expected, the world's governments were playing their parts perfectly. Panicked radio transmissions filled the airwaves, and Earth's most advanced spacecraft, deliberately outdated vessels, scrambled in disorganized patterns. To the hegemony's conventional sensors, humanity appeared to be a civilization in chaos, technologically centuries behind their observers. "They're broadcasting," Dr. Maya Chen announced, her hands moving across the holographic interface. "Standard hegemony first contact protocol." Elena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction, feeling it echoed through her ship's neural network. "Project the message across all frequencies. Let every ship in their fleet hear this." She spoke, her voice carried on quantum-entangled pathways that bypassed all attempts at blocking or jamming. "Attention hegemony vessels. You came to our world believing us to be primitives. You thought your technology made you superior. But while you were busy ruling your empire through brute force, humanity took a different path. We didn't just advance our technology. We transformed it into something entirely new." Through their shared consciousness, Elena could feel her ship's pride as she continued. "What you're facing isn't just advanced technology. Each of these vessels is a living entity, a perfect synthesis of engineered biology and quantum mechanics, guided by human consciousness. We don't need thousands of ships or overwhelming firepower. We simply needed to understand the universe better than you do." The quantum crystals continued to spread through space, creating a web of probability distortions that held the hegemony fleet in check. Their mighty warships, armed with enough firepower to reduce planets to ash, were being systematically disabled by 12 vessels that bent reality itself to their will. "Your empire is built on the assumption that technological progress follows a predictable path," Elena continued. "You judge civilizations by how closely they match your own development. That was your mistake. Humanity didn't follow your path. We created our own." The silence that followed was profound, broken only by the crystalline harmonics of the biosynth fleet's quantum fields as they held the entire hegemony armada in check. Through her neural link, Elena could feel the living crystals of her ship singing with victory, their quantum harmonics a testament to humanity's greatest achievement, the perfect fusion of mind, biology, and machine. The galaxy's greatest military power had just discovered that their understanding of what was possible had been fundamentally flawed. The aftermath of the confrontation rippled through the galaxy like a quantum wave. Commander Elena Santos stood in Helios Base's observation deck, watching through both human eyes and synthetic sensors as the hegemony fleet retreated in carefully measured steps, their mighty warships humbled by the demonstration of humanity's true capabilities. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Dr. Maya Chen reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The message is being transmitted to every corner of their empire." Elena nodded, feeling the satisfied hum of Nexus Prime's crystalline structure through their neural link. The biosynth fleet maintained their defensive formation, their quantum fields creating a shimmering lattice of probability distortions around Earth's orbit. "Play the transmission," she commanded. The hegemony's supreme commander's voice filled the chamber, carrying none of its earlier condescension. "To all systems under hegemony protection. We have encountered a civilization that defies our understanding of technological progression. Earth is hereby classified as a sovereign entity of the First Order. All vessels are instructed to maintain a minimum distance of 1 light-year from their system, unless explicitly invited." Captain James Chen allowed himself a small smile. "First Order classification. They're placing us above their own technological level." "They should," Elena responded, her consciousness partially merged with her ship's vast neural network. "We've shown them that their entire approach to technological advancement was fundamentally limited. They built bigger ships, more powerful weapons, faster engines, but they never imagined that biology and consciousness could be integrated with quantum mechanics at this level." Through the quantum biological sensors of the biosynth fleet, they watched as the last of the hegemony vessels prepared for faster-than-light departure. Their once perfect formation was now ragged, many ships still struggling with systems affected by the quantum probability distortions. We're receiving diplomatic requests from 17 different species, Dr. Chen announced, studying the incoming transmissions. Not just hegemony members, independent civilizations that monitored the confrontation. They all want to know how we achieve this level of technological integration. Elena felt a ripple of amusement through her neural link, echoed by the other pilots and their ships. They're asking the wrong question, she said. The real breakthrough wasn't technological. It was philosophical. We stopped trying to dominate nature and started working with it. The biosynth ships aren't tools we created. They're partners we grew. Open a channel to the hegemony fleet, Elena ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's long preparation. I think it's time we properly introduced ourselves. The channel opened, and Elena spoke. Her words transmitted not just through conventional means, but carried on quantum-entangled pathways that bypassed the hegemony's most sophisticated defenses. Greetings, hegemony vessels. I am Commander Elena Santos of Earth's Defense Force. You came here expecting to find primitives playing with chemical rockets. Instead, you found something unprecedented. Something your empire, with all its supposed superiority, never imagined possible. We are humanity, and we've been waiting for you. The silence that followed was profound, broken only by the rising hum of quantum fields as the biosynth fleet prepared to demonstrate exactly what humanity had achieved, while the galaxy wasn't watching. The hegemony's response came swiftly, a barrage of energy weapons that lit up space like artificial lightning. Commander Elena Santos watched through her ship's quantum-enhanced senses as the attacks approached, feeling Nexus Prime's anticipation through their neural link. Demonstration Protocol Alpha, she commanded, her consciousness synchronized perfectly with her vessel. Show them what they're really dealing with. The biosynth fleet moved with impossible grace, their crystalline structures flowing like liquid light. The hegemony's weapons passed harmlessly through space where the ships had been, or would be, or might have been. The quantum biological vessels existed in multiple probability states simultaneously, making conventional targeting systems utterly useless. Their weapons can't lock onto our quantum signatures, Dr. Maya Chen reported from heliospace. The biosynth hulls are shifting faster than their targeting systems can process. Through her expanded consciousness, Elena could feel the confusion and fear rippling through the hegemony fleet. Their sensors were reporting impossible readings, ships that violated their understanding of physics, energy patterns that shouldn't exist, and biological signatures that defied classification. Hegemony vessels are initiating attack formation Delta 7, Captain James Chen announced. They're bringing their heavy weaponry online. Elena felt a smile form on both her human and synthetic interfaces. Perfect. All vessels, initiate Symphony Protocol. The 12 biosynth ships began to move in perfect synchronization, their quantum fields interacting in ways that created ripples in the fabric of space-time itself. Through their neural links, the pilots' consciousnesses merged partially with one another, creating a gestalt network that allowed for unprecedented coordination. The hegemony's next attack was massive. Thousands of ships firing simultaneously in patterns designed to saturate space with energy weapons and exotic particles. It was a display of firepower that had brought countless civilizations to their knees. But the biosynth fleet moved like dancers in a cosmic ballet, their crystalline structures pulsing with iridescent light as they flowed through the gaps in reality itself. Each vessel predicted and responded to the other's movements perfectly, their human pilots working in harmony with both their ships and each other. Now, Elena commanded, show them our offensive capabilities. The biosynth fleet's response was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of conventional weapons, they generated quantum field distortions that interfaced directly with the biological components of their ships. The resulting attacks weren't just energy or particles. They were precisely controlled alterations in the probability matrix of spacetime itself. Hegemony vessels found their shields failing as quantum fields simply rewrote the probability of their existence. Weapon systems crashed as their targeting computers encountered paradoxes they couldn't resolve. Some ships found themselves temporarily shifted into alternate probability states, their crews watching in horror as reality itself seemed to blur around them. "They're attempting to regroup," Captain Chen reported. "Multiple ships are showing signs of systems failure." Elena directed Nexus Prime through a complex series of maneuvers, feeling the ship's living crystals adapt and flow with her thoughts. "Begin Phase 2 of the demonstration. Let's show them what happens when they threaten our world." The Biosynth fleet split into pairs, their quantum fields synchronizing in new patterns. The space between the vessels began to crystallize, forming structures of pure probability that reached out toward the hegemony ships. Where these quantum crystals touched alien vessels, systems began to shut down as probability itself was rewritten at the quantum level. "Hegemony flagship is attempting to communicate," Dr. Chen announced. They're requesting a ceasefire." The alien transmission appeared on the main screen, translated by their advanced AI systems. The message was exactly what they had anticipated: condescending, imperious, and completely unaware of the trap they were walking into. "Greetings, primitive civilization. We are the hegemony, rulers of 30,000 star systems. Your world has been designated for evaluation and potential incorporation into our empire. Resist, and you will be subdued. Accept our authority, and you may earn the privilege of serving the greater galactic community." Elena exchanged knowing looks with her command staff. Through her neural link, she could feel her ship's anticipation, mirroring her own carefully controlled excitement. "Status of the Biosynth fleet?" she asked. "All 12 vessels report perfect neural synchronization," Captain James Chen responded. "The biological components have fully adapted to their pilots, and the quantum cores are operating at optimal efficiency." "We're ready, Commander." Elena nodded, rising from her station. "Send the prepared response to the hegemony. Let's give them exactly what they expect. For now." Earth's official reply was a masterpiece of deception, a carefully crafted message full of awe, fear, and primitive attempts at diplomacy. The hegemony's response was predictably patronizing, their massive ships maintaining their intimidating formation as they prepared to demonstrate their superiority. "They're launching survey vessels," Dr. Chen reported. "Standard pattern. They'll probably spend a few days studying our primitive technology before beginning their occupation procedure." Elena smiled again, but this time there was a predatory edge to it. "Perfect. Signal all pilots. Begin final preparation sequence. It's time to show the hegemony what humanity has really been working on." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, 12 crystalline vessels pulsed with bioluminescent patterns as their pilots established their neural connections. Elena felt the familiar expansion of consciousness as she merged with Nexus Prime, the ship's vast neural network integrating seamlessly with her own mind. Through their shared perception, she could feel the other pilots connecting with their vessels, each pair forming a unique synthesis of human consciousness and quantum biological engineering. The ships themselves seemed to quiver with anticipation, their living crystals resonating with the excitement of their human partners. "The hegemony survey ships are approaching the atmosphere," Captain Chen's voice echoed through both conventional and neural channels. "Their sensors are focused on our satellite network and surface installations." "Let them get comfortable," Elena commanded, her consciousness expanded through her ship's systems. "Let them think they've seen everything worth seeing." Hours passed as the alien vessels conducted their survey, their sensors recording Earth's deliberately displayed technological level. The hegemony's confidence grew with each scan, their communications becoming increasingly dismissive of the primitive civilization they had encountered. Then, as the survey ships prepared to return to their fleet, Elena gave the order they had all been waiting for. "Project Nexus, Phase 3 initiation. All vessels, execute emergence protocol." The ocean surface barely rippled as 12 crystalline ships rose from the depths, their quantum biological systems rendering them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Each vessel moved with impossible grace, their living structures adapting and flowing like liquid crystal as they ascended through the atmosphere. Elena felt a fierce joy through her neural link as Nexus Prime took its position at the head of the formation. The biosynth fleet arranged itself in a geometric pattern that mirrored the hegemony's own formation, a deliberate mockery of their display of force. Hegemony vessels are detecting anomalous readings, Dr. Chen reported, excitement evident in her voice. Their sensors are having difficulty processing our quantum biological signatures. Now, Elena commanded, her consciousness flowing through the ship's systems. Let's show them what they missed while they were busy being superior. As one, the 12 biosynth ships activated their full capabilities. Their crystalline hulls transformed from near invisible to brilliantly iridescent, pulsing with patterns of light that represented the perfect fusion of human consciousness and engineered biology. The quantum fields they generated created ripples in space-time itself, a display of technology so far beyond the hegemony's understanding that their sensors simply couldn't process what they were seeing. The observation deck's displays showed scenes from around the world as humanity stepped out of its carefully maintained facade of technological backwardness. Hidden facilities emerged from underground bunkers, ocean depths, and mountain ranges. The quantum biological technology that had been developed in secret began to transform every aspect of human civilization. The hegemony's retreat marks the beginning. Elena continued, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's achievement. They've ruled the galaxy through technological superiority for so long that they forgot technology isn't just about power, it's about understanding. While they were building empires, we were building relationships with our own creations. Nexus Prime's crystalline structure pulsed with patterns of bioluminescence, responding to her thoughts. Through their neural link, Elena could feel the ship's excitement about the future, an emotion that was neither purely human nor purely synthetic, but something wonderfully new. Begin Phase 4, she commanded. It's time to show the galaxy what cooperation looks like. The biosynth fleet rearranged itself into a new formation, their quantum fields synchronizing in complex patterns. The space between them began to crystallize, forming structures of pure probability that expanded outward. But instead of weapons, these formations became something else, a demonstration of what was possible when consciousness, biology, and quantum mechanics worked in perfect harmony. The crystalline structures bloomed like flowers made of light and possibility, each pattern telling the story of humanity's journey. They showed how Earth had taken a different path, choosing to evolve their technology through synthesis rather than conquest. The display was visible across half the solar system, a testament to what could be achieved when intelligence guided power rather than wielded it. Multiple species are requesting permission to send scientific delegations, Dr. Chen reported. They want to learn. Elena smiled, feeling the expression mirrored in her ship's quantum field fluctuations. And we'll teach them. Not because we want to rule or dominate, but because the galaxy is ready for something new. The age of empires and technological intimidation is over. It's time for an era of synthesis and cooperation. As the quantum crystal display continued to bloom across space, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Humanity had been dismissed as primitives, ignored as insignificant, and that had been their greatest advantage. It had given them the freedom to develop something unprecedented. A technology that wasn't about dominance but partnership, not about power but understanding. The dawn of this new era would reshape the galaxy, not through force or conquest, but through the simple demonstration that there were always new paths to discover, new ways to grow, and new possibilities to explore. Humanity had shown that the future belonged not to those who built the biggest weapons, but to those who dared to imagine something entirely new. Through her neural link, Elena felt the harmony of human and synthetic consciousness, of biology and quantum mechanics, of thought and probability. It was a symphony of possibility that would echo through the stars, inviting others to join in the dance of creation rather than the march of conquest. The age of the hegemony was over. The age of synthesis had begun.